everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of the Big Apple Battle, a New York baseball podcast. And Ed, we are the jinx because last time we recorded, the title of episode 15 was Summer's Here and New York baseball is smoking hot. And my friend, the Mets were 8-2 a couple weeks back when we recorded. The Yankees were 7-3. And now, since our jinx, the Mets are 1-10, which has taken years off my life, and the Yanks are 3-9. What is happening?
Your guess is as good as mine. Hell is freezing over. Pigs are flying. It's hot as hell outside, but bats couldn't be colder in New York, or at least for our side of the situation. And it looks like your arms aren't holding up as much as you'd like them to. So we talked about it, man. Progress, regress to the mean. It's all going to happen. And we just happen to find ourselves right in the thick of it in the soupiest, thickest part of the hot weather we can have in this fine city. So,
Ed, man, and we were so excited for this weather. Or at least I was. I mean, maybe not the 100 degree plus where you're sweating profusely when
well,
you're
it would have been
sitting.
nice if we had like some progression to it. It was like
No
we went
spring,
from
yeah.
65 to 100.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts actually.
Let's pick one. So maybe that's what's happening, right? The guys aren't feeling great. Their bodies are confused. They're going all over the country, sweating, getting themselves pulled from games early. It's just
Yeah,
things are getting a
pulling the
little weird.
hamstring, running to first base. You're dehydrated. You need salt and lemon in your water. All those things play, right?
At
But I
least
will
they're not
say,
Sean Casey ripping a hammy off his bone for the Savannah Bananas out there. So
yeah,
could be
I
worse.
feel I
Could be
feel for
worse.
him. I'll pull one out for good old Sean Casey. I used to love that sweet left-handed swing, man.
Hey, the mayor
Um,
deserves a little bit of love.
it's funny because we had a game Sunday in the men's league, and I pulled my hamstring in the first, and I went down, and for a minute I thought it's over, I'm done. But then I got back up. I went to first. Everyone's like worried and trying to get a pinch runner. Of course, I wave him off. And I try to steal a bag like an idiot. I get to second base and I pull myself out of the game. It was bad.
It's like that meme. There's one really good video where it's like a dude and his girlfriend, and he goes like, "Oh," and he's dancing and he pretends he hurts his leg. She goes, "Oh no, are you all right? Are you all right?" And he gets up and he just like starts twisting it up and he starts dancing again. She goes, "Oh!" It's basically we're just looking for a little bit of attention. Start
That
twerking out
was
there on first.
that was essentially me limping back to the dugout. My buddy's got the ice in hand. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Trying to lead the team in steals." Um,
It's like Shohei, you do both, and when you can't be on the mound, you got to do everything you can on the base paths.
that's it, man. But yeah, back to this. I have been saying on the pod, right? I think we talked a few times about scheduling and looking forward to playing our NL East rivals and AL East rivals. What has the NL East rivals done for us? It has ruined us. We haven't beat the Braves yet. The Phillies just owned us, and we're in free fall. And for whatever reason, the Rays swept us, but they were red hot at the time. And we'll get into all that. But my point is, like, we were so excited for these NL East rivals. I mean, just our rivalry games and like what that means and the fandom and just like it just feels more like competitive baseball. It always does when you're playing the teams that you hate the most. And
Especially
now
this late
we,
in the season, right? We had been
yeah,
gone so
man.
long without that rivalry, so we were itching for it, right? Excited,
Now,
feeling
now I
good
wish
going
I had the
into it.
Rockies fucking every week with the Marlins tied to them.
I don't know. I'm a little terrified of the Rockies, if I'm being honest. I'd rather take on the best teams in baseball than the Rockies because that's when we are doomed to absolutely blow it.
Well, I'll go
But
back on my
as you're
word
saying,
too. Sorry, I was just gonna say too. Like, I feel like I've said a few times on the pod, like it always feels much worse if you lose to a team like the Rockies because they're bad versus losing to the Phillies, the Braves. That's false. I take that back. It sucks losing to your rival, no matter how good they are, no matter how bad you are. It's
it
always gonna
does
suck when
suck.
your rival has your number, especially when they're shit like the Braves, which they shouldn't be, mind you. That lineup, like, it's all the same guys. They were just slumping. They're gonna be fine. Scares the shit out of me, the Mets fan. But my point is that it still hurts more when it's a team that you despise the most, obviously.
Well, and that's what's crazy. Everybody coming into this series, right? I'm pretty sure it was Lindor, maybe somebody else, but it was like it's still the Braves. Like we can't sleep on them. And the fact that those words, obviously led into the series that you're having so far, or
Yeah.
the two series that you've had. Yeah, just goes to show that a sleeping giant can wake up anytime and just bitch slap the sense back into you, right? But
100%.
it's
It
it's kind
really,
of how it feels.
I mean, it feels like it's also been like 3 seasons of baseball. And I look back when we last recorded, and yes, guys, we are super inconsistent. But regardless, we're here now, and that's what matters. But
Kind
it's
of like our
been,
teams.
yeah, you know what? That's why we're inconsistent. We're just following suit around here. We're following
Yeah,
New
we're,
York baseball close.
we're big on themes, all right? We're trying to follow
Huge on
in
themes.
suit.
Speaking of themes, La Familia sign for the home run, the Mets home run. Marte brought that out and said, no,
Oh,
I kind of like that. It's a beautiful sign. Oh my God, is a thing of
he's
the past,
dead?
and
Well, it's in
it
San
it
Diego now. It's been co-opted. It's brown and yellow.
I mean basically dead. So far away.
Might as well be. It's in a different stratosphere. It's in
La,
Mexico.
La Familia I like, but it's, not a great sign when you're not doing great things, I guess.
Well, is Jay Reese coming back and going to lead the charge, or what's happening there? If
Don't
you're going to,
remind me. Don't
I
remind me of
like
him.
that.
I loved him, honestly, but that's a song and dance for another day.
Dude, there was a whole
He has
quiz on.
moments.
Sorry, I had to interrupt with this because I'm
No,
a nerd.
please.
I do these Major League Baseball quizzes on MLB.com every day, and they had one of like who's the person with the most saves per franchise, right? So it's like Edwin Diaz is on there, but you have to match him with the franchise he has the most saves with. But it's for the Mariners, not the Mets. I didn't realize that Familia has your most saves in
Yeah,
history.
isn't that
That's
crazy?
crazy. Like
That's freaking
what?
crazy.
Like you've K-Rod, you've had all these guys, Billy Wagner, John Franco.
It's the
Him?
stints probably for how long. It's probably for how long he was there.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's just truly bizarre that he had no, and well, for one season. It wasn't for the
Oh,
time. It was a
oh,
single
oh, oh.
season.
Yeah, I was gonna
So I was
say
just
that
like,
didn't
of
sound
course it
right.
would be that. There's another one today that I'll digress from here quickly, but tying the Mets and Padres back together. Mike Piazza was one for the catchers, who is the most single season, home runs for this team as a catcher, right? In one season. You get it.
Yeah,
So Mike Piazza's up there, and I'm like, oh, it's probably Mets, right? Mike Piazza. And I didn't think that it would be someone else, and it turned out I was wrong. And I'm like, shit, who else would it have been? And it was the Padres. Of all the teams he's played
whoa.
for, the only franchise record he holds as a catcher for a single season in home runs is for the Padres with 22.
Well,
Not for the Mets. The Mets is Todd Hundley with 41. But like what? Like
legend.
what? Anyway, so
Fun
that's
fact about
baseball.
that. I actually have a Piazza Padres jersey.
No way. That's
Yeah, we
great.
actually we went there because my dad was a huge Piazza fan. I was a big, we were just big
Of
Mets fans
course.
at the
Yeah.
time, obviously, and Piazza fans. And when he went to San Diego, we ended up taking a trip out there, and we saw the Padres play. He was actually an asshole. I was a kid at the time. He was like not willing to come and sign the jersey or anything. But I still love Piazza. I see what he does to this day. He seems like a good guy. Maybe he was having a bad day. We get it now, being older.
Yeah,
Bad days
exactly.
happen.
And it was at the end of his career. It was like the second to last season. He had a pretty good year that year. He still hit 283, which is nuts in that
That is
ballpark. It
nuts.
was
How old was he at
huge
the
back
time?
then. He was 37, which is still, I thought he was older than that. He only retired at 38.
I mean, he doesn't age. He still looks great. Like he
Yeah,
still he,
hey,
he looks like he can play still.
listen, he signed the deal with the Devils at some point, so he's gonna give back that age as soon as that deal's broken. But until then, he'll
Not
look
that
young
hair
forever.
though. Not that hair. Oh, Ed, I think we're doing all we
That's
can
true.
to avoid the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I guess we got to
New
talk
York
about it.
baseball, the sky is falling down. I mean, like you said earlier, and like the theme on this pod has always been regressing and progressing to the mean. Right now, there is no progression at all. It is all regression. It is all
Oh yeah.
pain. It is all heartbreak. It is all late inning blown games. It is all runners left on base. It's all chasing, the highest chase rates in a long time, at least on the Mets end. It's all your supposed top prospects are supposed to be studs and Mauricio and Alvarez and Beatty and Acuna, and they all fucking suck.
Oh man, you're not even mincing words. They
Not
all
today.
suck. Do they all suck, Alec, or are they all just not in the perfect scenario and they're expected to do too much maybe at this juncture? Like you have a real big it's strange. You have either the solid veterans that have been there, done that, right? Or you have the complete young kids. And that is your team. You are completely split 50-50 on that, it seems. And I guess what I'm trying to say about that is it incumbent upon the veterans to make them feel more comfortable? Are the
Hmm.
guys not producing and therefore they need more seasoning? Are there other guys on their heels? Is competition getting in their way? Like
I
what's
mean,
happening now?
I'll tell you right now because like again, I'm just getting emotional about it as an emotional Mets fan. Like
No, of course.
I've always vouched for basically every guy I just mentioned. I mean, the whole Beatty situation. The card is still going strong. I don't know how much longer, but Alvarez has always been my guy. Love him, always have. But I don't
Hey,
even think it's a competition thing. I think it's just trying to do too much. But
mm,
all right, let me backtrack because there is obviously a level of competition because we do have an influx of infielders. When Vientos went on the shelf, the third base position seemed open. The second base position seemed open. Guys were fighting. Maybe they were pressing a little too much from what I'm gathering. Like Brett Beatty on the season, like remember he came back and he was picking up the slack a bit.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
he's hitting 217 with 8 home runs and 26 RBIs. Like how much longer are you gonna keep running him out here with a 660 OPS? And
Well,
like
you're ready to give him the keys to third base last time. So I mean, is it just the difference of a week and a half of bad luck? You
I
know?
mean, maybe, but that's also not a small sample set anymore. It's almost 200 at bats. I mean, it's almost a third of what
Mm.
you usually go through in a full season. And, a guy like Ronnie Mauricio is a different story. 54 at bats, like that is different, right? He's hitting 185, two home runs, four RBIs, 574 OPS. But again, the sample size is smaller. He was coming off a complete year missed. And like that, I give a little more leeway with. He's a little younger, but like Beatty again, time and time again, he's been given his chance. He's getting older. He's at this age now. We've seen what Vientos can do, and he's on his way back. He's had some rehab assignments, thank God. And I was so happy, when he wasn't playing anymore because like he wasn't contributing much, and maybe it was a sophomore
Right.
slump vibe and whatever. But now we need him, and like, and then I'll pass it your way. But Alvarez is the big one, right? We saw what he did in his rookie season. We saw how he's been struggling since he's had a lot of these hand injuries and thumb injuries and
Well,
the
that
hamate
was the question I
bone.
had. That
Yeah, please.
hamate bone, right? Like I knew that was going to be a struggle coming back from, but it felt like he rushed back almost. Or do you feel like he just hasn't gotten right from that? Do you think that it's carrying over from last year? Where do you weigh in on that?
I weigh in. It's tough, right? Because like I don't know what I don't know, but at the same time, from the info I'm gathering, I feel as if he rushed back. But even if it feels good enough to play, it's a mental side of it because it is your hand and it is your
Right.
thumb and it is like
And it's his throwing hand,
it just
right?
exactly it's his
Yeah.
throwing hand. Oh, actually, it might be his catching hand if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, okay.
which is actually almost
But
worse in a
but
way.
that's his pull hand from on the bat too when he's swinging. Like that's the pull,
Yes,
which where your
yes.
hamate and the hook on that hand, right? That's where it hurts the most is to pull and generate a lot of that bat speed from. And a lot of that, like again, fine motor skill movement in the flick of the wrist on that, right? You know how violent swinging a bat can be.
Oh
Maybe it
yeah.
is just a little worse or tender or more freaked out about re-injury, right?
But I say that, and then I watch his at bats and his swings. Like I can't make excuses for swinging out of your shoes and swinging at balls in the dirt and having no discipline. Like
Right.
that's not an injury thing. That's an approach thing. That's an age thing. That's a discipline thing. And he's hitting 236 and 123 at bats with a 650 OPS. And like it's the same song dance with all these guys, right? And then who's the last one I mentioned was freaking Luis Angel.
Yep.
Same deal,
Yep.
145 at bats, 240, 570 OPS. Like he was in there for late inning stolen bases. We sent him down so he could play every day. We sent Alvarez down so he could play every day, which I respect and I agree with at this in this juncture of time. And that's why we signed Travis Jankowski because he could essentially do the same thing late inning that Acuna does. And he
Right.
has done that for us a couple years back. And I actually love Jankowski as a guy like that personally.
Well, just say more consistently as that guy, right? That's his role. That's the role he's crafted in the major leagues, and he's comfortable coming off the bench late in games, hitting, in a pinch hit scenario. Like he is that typical fourth, fifth outfielder type that you rely on to do just that. Whereas Acuna is in a position where he's almost, fighting for a position still, trying to get as much playing time as he can, trying to live up to what his brother is, which I worry for
He
that
can't
in New
do that.
York,
Yeah.
right? And does the team expect him to be more of what Ronald Acuna is than a guy that is maybe more of a, speedster? I don't know how well he plays defensively. I would assume pretty well or
He is
at least
solid.
serviceable. Yeah. But what you'd rather have is a guy that can be an elite fielder and give you that speed still, right? But are you trying to get more out of these guys than they can provide, maybe, or trying to fit them into places that they don't necessarily belong?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're not all meant because that's like I mean, essentially at the same time, these guys are all starting at one point, right? You're having your 6 through 9 in your lineup basically be a bunch of, 23, 24, 25 year olds who are supposed to be your next budding superstars or role players or talent from your farm, right? And they're not proving out to be that. And part of me leans in this direction of and I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe like how long is the leash, right? Like eventually there's got to be a discussion where like you could package some of these together. Other teams might still have be a little high on these guys where you could throw a package together, maybe get that 27, 20 proven out star to make your lineup 1 through 6 strong enough. And then you could fill the void elsewhere with some other young talent that you still have to come in. Jet Williams and Drew Gilbert and all these guys that, Ryan Cliffords of the world. Like there's still plenty in the farm who are younger who might prove out to be better than this wave of supposed talent, right? And I hate to do that, but like and I know some guys bud later. Some guys might bud at 27. Some guys bud at 28.
Right.
But some guys never bud, and that's what worries me.
And that's where you got to figure out if, what kind of veteran uh, talent is out there, right, to acquire, even if it's just stopgap type players, right? Where the Yankees are kind of in that position in a lot of places, first base. We've seen it at, a number of third base, a number of positions that we're just sort of filling in with veterans that we know have proven and been there, done that kind of thing. I think that's almost what you guys are missing a little more of, where you're relying a lot on your own farm, your own guys that you've cultivated throughout the years, for lack of a better term, or groomed to get up to this level, taught them the Mets way, or at least the new Mets way. And again, maybe that's not working out, but again, it's hard to say, all right, bail on these prospects who were going to be the guys a year or two ago and got you where you got ultimately last year, right?
Yep.
Um, and then say, oh, you know what, time to move on and we'll just go after the next crop. It's kind of like what sounds like the Red Sox have been doing for years, right? They're not sure. Is this the crop? I don't know. Let's go to the next one. At some point, is it leadership? At some point, is it clubhouse mentality? At some point, is it roster construction and higher up? And
Well,
you got to blame
coaching
the players and coaching.
sometimes as
Development
well.
is kind of the
Development.
terminology I was thinking. Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder because they've had the success, they've shown they can do it. It's where's the carryover?
Yeah, and you know what it is? A lot of people want Chavez's head, and I don't want to blame the hitting coach yet. I don't want to blame Mendoza yet. Like, I know we do have good leadership in Lindor, and Soto's obviously gotten comfortable where he is, and Alonso and Nimmo. But it's a perfect storm. There's injuries. There's your top four in your lineup slumping and struggling at the same time outside of Soto, who's been our best hitter now. And it's funny how that works. We'll dive more into that later. But um, like missing out on a guy like Winker, right, who's supposed to be your left-handed DH, and now you have to push Marte even further at his age, and you have a Siri who, yeah, he struggled out of the gate, but we didn't even get to see him much in center field.
Right.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
sorry, can you hear me? Siri thought I was talking to her on my laptop. It cut me out for a second.
It's like, are you
Um,
serious?
yeah, but that's another guy, and like I
He was a
and
big
we're
part of the plan.
huge, and like we're filling the void with a guy like Jared Young, and this still baffles me. I don't know if you have an answer from like just baseball logical sense. I don't know why they keep running Jared Young out there batting fifth and sixth in our order when he's hitting 170 and almost 45 at bats. Like it makes
Hmm.
no sense why he's the guy we're running out there to be a left-handed DH. There's so many fucking options in my opinion.
Yeah, and you would think that there would be something more creative or just somebody somewhere that's like rotting away on someone's bench, right? Any
Yeah, like does his
non-competitive
dad
team
have
that you
like
can
a
go
nude
to.
photo of Mendoza or something? Like I don't understand what's going on here.
They must see something in underlying numbers, and maybe their belief is again, you got to give them an opportunity. How many guys, at any given level? I know he's a guy that's been, fringe and up and down over the years, but how many guys get a chance in a cup of coffee at the major league level, never get another opportunity, but if they had given a 30, 40 game run, maybe they do catch fire. I don't know. It does seem a little strange. Again, I think he had maybe a good run early on when he came up. I can't really figure out the justification for it as I'm not watching every single game.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But it does, yeah, I don't know. Seems like you're lacking in just
There's
options
no
that are just like those throwaway pickups, you know what I mean, that the Yankees make at the end of spring training. I feel like those are some guys that you can find somehow. You know
Well,
what
I
I
was gonna
mean?
say to that, there's like this depth that we had. It's really just dissipated because again, the young talent has proven. Now you have a Jared Young who's your left-handed DH. Tyrone Taylor, I love him as a player. I told you defensively, he's always been a true backup center fielder. He's not meant to be playing this much every day. He has already 211 at bats this year. He's hitting 230 with a 600 OPS. Like that is a weak link in the lineup. Jared Young is a weak link in the lineup. Brett Beatty is a weak link. Torrens, great catcher. He's a weak link in the lineup. He's hitting 218. We sent Alvarez down so Torrens could get the brunt of the starts. But how much more of an improvement is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So before I keep just diving into the Mets, this is a big apple battle pod. The Yankees are also struggling. I want to hear what's going on. If it's young talent, what's regressing. I'll get into our pitching woes. I just want to touch on some of that young batting talent. But what's going on with you guys?
It's weirdly similar in so many ways. It's sort of it feels like same old Yankees, right? The same issues they've run into since 2017, right? When they just missed getting to the World Series, 2019 when they just missed getting to the World Series. When the offense sputters, it feels like a contagious uh life-ending disease because the way that these bats, the anemia that these bats experience, um, is shocking. The fact that we can't scratch runners across the plate, the fact that the home run or bust mentality seems to really tank our season every year because we, again, suddenly lose the ability to play fundamental baseball. We make mental error after mental error. I don't want to blame any one person, but at some point, who do you blame for what's gone on culturally within this organization, right? Um, when you can't get out of your own way, when you're in a slump and you just continue to strike out, try to pull the ball wherever it is, swing out of your shoes to hit a home run. I'm getting a little lost and sidetracked because I'm so
No, it's okay.
frustrated hearing the same old mantra, which is we'll figure it out, every year For the last 5 years, it's been a historic start for the Yankees, and and by the time the calendar flips to June, we suddenly can't hit our way out of a wet paper bag,
And what is
right?
that Boone? What is that Boone mantra? Doesn't he always say? He always
It's
says
right
something like
here.
"piss."
It's
Yeah,
right in
he
front
says
of us.
that's what it
You know,
is.
and listen, I don't want to hate or rip on Boone year in, year out, but I've felt like this for 5 years. The dude is not a guy who holds players accountable the way he needs to. These guys all have an ability to play the game of baseball in a cohesive manner, right?
Mm.
I'm looking for the word, but consistency, right? We talk about it all the time. If you are slumping in this sort of way, where over your last 10 games, you're striking out 10 times or more a game as an offense, where you are getting on base only a little bit more than you are striking out as a team, that's putrid. And when you aren't hitting home runs and you aren't able to get a base knock here, a base knock there, a walk here, a walk there, a walk everywhere, a
Yeah,
walk,
I was about
walk,
to
right? This is
say,
my
I love it.
second, old McDonald reference, but it feels that way. It's just, it's mind-numbing to watch. It's predictable. You know, everybody on the team has the same exact approach, which is hunt fastballs and hunt them only, right? And teams are catching up. This offense was historic to start the season because they knew what they were looking for, which was a fastball. Cut out all the other nonsense, cut out the noise, right? Don't look for a curveball. If it's got any spin, don't even look at it. Don't even swing at it. Now it feels like either their pitch recognition is just in the toilet or that approach has been figured out by pitching staffs around the league because I feel like they're seeing fewer fastballs in the zone. They are being backed into corners where they need to now swing at bad pitches because they're not getting those fastballs in the zone. They're taking. It's again, it goes back to my main premise, which is if you're going to play the game of baseball, you need well-rounded players that can do just about everything. That's
Is
a
it a
major
lack of
leaguer.
depth though, like similar to us, where you guys are just missing certain pieces, or your young talent is improving out, or your guys who were like,
It's
you know,
everyone.
yeah, even Judge,
Yeah.
right? My friends are saying, he's just not coming in the clutch still,
And that's
regardless
going
of
to
what his stats
happen.
say. Yeah, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, and that's bound to happen. And to be fair, his average with runners in scoring position this year is still at 360s. Like he is coming through in the clutch. He did hit a massive home run against Garrett Crochet against the Red Sox, hit in 1-0, what looked like it was going to be a 1-0 shutout. So these things are happening and the offense is producing enough to keep us in games, I guess, but it's really the pitching staff that's keeping us around, which is insane. Nobody was gonna not insane. It's predictable because the way we whatever. I'm gonna
No, it's
stop. I'm getting too
frustrating.
hot over here, but you know
That's all
how it
right. I
is.
could give you some
So
shitty stats to make you feel better when you're done, though,
yeah,
if you
I'm gonna
want,
keep it
for some
simple.
fun.
There's no one specifically to blame. I think it's more cultural. I think it's the running the organization from the top and saying, here's the metrics, here's how you do it. You need to learn how to produce runs without the home run. I'm sorry. The idea that you
Yes,
can just win every game with more home runs. I heard Boog Sciambi on, Sunday Night Baseball defending home run hitting teams because the Cubs are a home run hitting team and he broadcasts for them. So as Jazz just hits a home run and puts us up 3-0, thank God.
ooh, there you go.
Big one. All right. So but the idea that, oh no, home runs will always win out. It'll always win out. Okay, show me that in the World Series. Show me that against the best pitching. When a pitcher who doesn't give up home runs faces you who only hits home runs, who's going to win out? I guess that's what you want, but ultimately you need another tool in your utility belt. And that is the ability to produce runs and scratch them across. Anthony Volpe hitting for the fences, swinging for the fences every time he can because they have screwed up his swing. They have told him, you're a power hitter. No, you're not. You're a guy who's going to hit for power because you're a good hitter. You're a
Mm.
line to line hitter. Be that guy. You do not need to hit 30 home runs. You can hit 15 and be an elite baseball player. This dude was hitting third in the lineup with Bobby Witt Jr. and I don't know, multiple players that are now elite for his age group.
It's
Why
got to be
is it now that he
ego,
can't do
right?
it?
It's got to be
Ego
ego, right?
or
Nowadays with this
something? Or is it somebody getting it? Yeah, you're right.
in
Probably
your
like
ear, yeah.
deflated. Yeah. And the Yankees tinker with everything. Our way is better. We know. We'll tell you. Great. Numbers are great, nerds. I love the numbers. But you also know what got a guy here. So let's lean into what got the guy here and get the best out of those skill sets. Don't make a
100%.
uniform hitter and lineup because then you're predictable and everybody can carve you up, as we've been seeing over the last 10
It's
games.
funny
So
you say that, Ed, because like with the Mets, just to tie it back real quick, is like you guys are either home run or bust, we always get guys on base for the most part. I mean, lately it's been a struggle, but we do. But we are absolutely abysmal with runners in scoring position. We have been since the start of this year. We have been since I feel like I was born. But
Right.
regardless, it's been rough. And like just to give you some fun stats and maybe make you feel better because misery loves company, right?
Oh yeah.
The Mets 7 game losing streak from the 13th to 20th before we won one and then we lost more. Um, we allowed 55 runs and only scored 20. I mean, put that in perspective. We scored 2 or fewer runs in 6 of 9 games during that period. And during the Brave series where we got swept, um, and hopefully we don't get swept again in this current series. We're now 0-0 in the third. I'm freaking praying here. But they managed just 5 runs in those 3 games. And
Yay.
the chase rate was high. It was around 30%, well above league average. Bottom third in the MLB during that stretch. Again, I touched on the rookies. Just the clutch hitting dried up. We were 215 runners scoring position. Again, that 8-2 stretch I touched on, I think we're almost 350 or something. Like I was happy in the direction we were heading. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like you're afraid of subconsciously afraid of these teams, or like you just go into Truist Park and there's a freaking witch in the basement who's casting a spell on you, and you just don't know how to hit a baseball anymore, and you don't know how to play the game right.
No, yeah, and it's like
Company.
it feels like all-time choking. It's just like you know what's going to happen next, and it's insane. Like the Yankees, as you said, we were scoring 5.5 runs a game at one point. Now we're down to 3 runs a game. So our pitching is actually keeping us in everything. We're pitching to, I think, the second best ERA in baseball in the month of June. And here we are still trying to scrounge for runs against the Cincinnati Reds, against the Angels, right? Our
Yeah,
our there's a stat within since 2020, we have the worst record in extra inning games on the road. And in this season alone, I think we have one win in like 9 opportunities in extra inning games on the road. We cannot get a base hit with the ghost runner on second. What is that?
saying we can't either.
What is
Trust me,
that? Right? It's like we have pretty
it's
decent runners in
mental.
scoring
I'm telling you.
position. Exactly. It's right there. And that's why I also hate the Manfred man, right? I'm going to be honest. Seeing that right there is jarring. It's weird. It's the beginning of the inning. I shouldn't see a guy on second base.
Yeah.
It kind of changes the guy's mentality and the approach. And whatever, they're major leaguers. They should be able to overcome that.
What do we say though? Regular extra innings till at least the 11th or 12th. Well, I would
I
say
agree.
11th.
I would
Even
say at least the 11th. Yeah.
2 innings,
Exactly.
2 regular innings, and then throw fucking a guy in third. I don't care. Just give me
Yeah,
two. Well, no, I
totally.
would, I would care, but give me
Why not
two.
first base, right? Why does it have to be
First would
second
be,
base?
yeah, dude. First would be great. Double play chance. It changes the
Right.
defensive shifts. I actually like that. Should
Right. But
we?
maybe
Should we
they're like, oh,
make a
we
pitch?
shouldn't. Yeah, we could, but they might be like, oh, then you get 2 outs right away, and that just extends the game, which is
Yeah, say,
also
oh, the
kind of
Big Apple
dumb.
battle. What do they know?
Hey, those
um,
guys don't know a goddamn thing.
who's on first? All
Right,
right, but I will.
see?
I will say this too. The best way to sum up this stretch, and I feel like it ties into the Yankees and Mets alike, right? This is the key, and it's funny because last pod we were touching on the keys to success and the progression that we're seeing. Everything was playing nicely with each other, and now you have your key players underperforming, tied in with again your budding supposed superstars or budding talent. Not even superstars; a hard word to use right now. Budding talent couldn't fill the gaps, right? And then you have your offense shutting down. You're chasing pitches at a higher rate. Your runners in scoring position average maintains pretty much awful in the low twos. And then on top of that, your starters can't hold innings, and your bullpen absolutely regresses and collapses multiple times. And in this stretch, since we last recorded, Ed, I have the stat here for you. Our bullpen ERA is around a 6 plus and 6.6
Oh,
to be exact, and it spiked at the time from I want to say it was a low two, but like
wow.
just this stretch, not overall on the season, it's not 6.6, but the stretch was a 6.6, and like all these guys just fell off the face of the earth, and maybe it was bound to happen. And now I'm kind of naturally shifting gears into pitching here because I'm sure we both could touch on that too.
Of
But
course.
like, it's I don't want to say it's a surprise, right? But I think it's a surprise how fast it happened. Because a guy like Reed Garrett, who is had a sub one, mind you, ERA when we last recorded, he's now hovering. It's a 2.32. It's still a respectable ERA, but that's again inflated versus sub one. That's telling me that he's blown a lot of these games in this stretch of losses. A guy like Yaskar Brazaban, who walked the bases loaded against the Braves last night when we were up 3-0 late in the innings. All you have to do is throw strikes, and you walk the bases loaded, and we end up losing that game, and that inning turns into a blow up inning. Ryan Stanek still just doing what he does at a 4-5, treading water. Guys like Jose Castillo are now sent down finally. The funniest one out of them all, I don't know if you heard about Richard Lovelady, Dickie
Yeah.
Lovelady.
Dick
This
Love Lady.
fucking Dickie Lovelady, he doesn't deserve the name. Just I looked at the guy and like he's just eating a donut and he's making a weird face and nothing wrong with that, but
He's a
I love
funny, lanky looking dude. I remember him on the Royals when he first came up. Dick Love Lady. That gotta be one of the best in baseball.
he got in last night, 1 inning, 2 earned runs, and we just DFA'd him.
Oh, poor
That's a
bastard.
tough one. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Sorta,
Yeah,
kind of
he'll
don't.
catch on somewhere else. He's a bullpen piece with a pulse, man. They always got a
But
job somewhere.
but that I think is what the difference is, at least for us. And I want to touch on your bullpen, see where that's been. I mean, you go into the starting rotation because I think that's the one thing that's still okay-ish. I mean, we have some issues there, but in terms of the bullpen, I think that's an even bigger issue because these guys who you expect to be your bridge to Edwin Diaz, who's still figuring it out, but Diaz is barely pitching because we haven't won fucking games. He hasn't pitched really. But you Reed Garrett, who's your eighth inning guy, who's starting to stumble. Jose Buto has been consistent. He's actually improved. 2.66 ERA. He's been much better, and I'm glad because he's a multi-inning guy. But Yasker Brazaban was the seventh inning guy. He's stumbling. He's not throwing strikes, right?
Mhm.
Ryan Stanek isn't proven to be consistent. Isn't really in that circle of trust. Max Kranick keeps going up and down, up and down. He just hasn't proven out much. Again, Jose Castillo's gone. You lost AJ Minter, who I miss dearly now, who was actually doing great. And then Daniel Nunez. That's a huge piece for us last year. Came out of nowhere. He was a top end reliever, right? And now he's been sent up and down a few times, a 4.5 ERA. He's only pitched 6 innings. So I'm curious to see if he could figure it back out because now we're kind of all hands on deck. So he's getting his reps because no one could figure it out. Um, yeah, man, it's ugly. Paul Blackburn, we gave him a try in the bullpen. Paul Blackburn, first of all, I got a whole. I mean, he gets my shithole award. Yeah, I mean, 4 innings out of the bullpen with a 14 ERA. 4 innings, Ed, 11 hits out of the bullpen. 4 innings.
Those are like
Four innings.
Those are like Devin Williams in April numbers.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's been doing as a starter, just to really put in perspective, which hasn't been much better. But as a starter, 4 ERA, 13 innings, 13 hits. But I mean, better, sure.
I
But
better, yeah,
like,
I know. It's
but
like
yeah,
emptying the tank isn't helping him.
I mean, and that's kind of my point here is like you think you have all this depth because guys that you didn't expect to do well, but
Right.
then they regress, and now you're stuck with the reality of the situation where it's like, okay, maybe we were not as good as we were or were what the stats showed right early on the season. People are figuring us out. There's analytics, there's learnings, there's adjustments, and that's clearly happening. And guys
You
are not
said it.
course
It's a
correcting,
game
and
of
yeah,
adjustments, man, and
game of
that the whole
adjustments.
league learns to catch up and they get more video, and that's where the nameless, faceless bullpen sometimes doesn't always work in your favor. At some point, someone catches on and they become a name and a face. And, if we've got your number and you lose confidence, that run can be extended, right? That run of failure or success, depending on either way it goes. But your confidence level leads to whatever that trend is going to be. And the fact that your bullpen is struggling the way it is right now after being so great early on, again, just goes back to the point of adjustments.
Well, yeah, and then also at the same time, like just where we were, right? And again, we've been talking a lot about regressing and progressing to the mean, but like where we were in terms of just in like the top of the league in bullpen ERA and bullpen stats and starters ERA and such. Like in this stretch where we've been 1 for 10, we have fallen out of the top five in bullpen ERA and we're around a 3.5. And put that in perspective, that's not a bad ERA to be number seven in the league, right? But put it in
Yeah.
perspective to where we were a whole run better when we last recorded this podcast. And that's bad. That's a problem.
Yeah. And again, bullpen ERA, all that stuff, that changes really fast, right? Because
It
that
does.
the amount of number, again, just the number of innings pitched, that inflates your stuff quickly. So I remember looking back at some ERAs from guys that were really effective for the Yankees in like the mid 2000s and seeing they had like a 4 or 5 ERA on the season. But that's like, yeah, you're using them 70 times a year. And you're getting, some days they're going to give up 3 runs and it's not going to be great. But the other times they're doing nothing. It's kind of like what I see out of Mark Leiter, right? Mark
Oh
Leiter
yeah,
Jr. has
yeah.
been a huge piece for our bullpen. He's been overused. He's a guy that they just know they can go to because he's, unaffected, doesn't really have, he has a slow heartbeat, all that jazz you want to use, or all that terminology you want to use. But, he's already in his 37th game. Yesterday, they bring him into the game in extra innings after he had already thrown 27 pitches the day before They bring him in again yesterday for that because they got no one else they can rely on because they've all been, run through. And they don't really care if Mark Leiter Jr.'s arm gets, I don't want to say that. I don't know that
No,
they
yeah,
value
don't
his
jinx
arm
it.
the
Don't
way
jinx
that
it.
they value other arms in that bullpen sometimes. So it just goes to show that you do need those characters that you can also just rely on to be sturdy and give you those innings even when things are going like complete shit. So
And is it
I
your
don't know if you
bullpen
got
that's
that guy right now.
also sorry, just to put it back on the Yankees, is your bullpen that's stumbling? That's not. I mean, I know your hitting has regressed a bit. So is it your bullpen is not holding leads late? Or you guys just well, one, not getting those leads, but two, not allowing you to come back because the bullpen is giving
Yeah.
up a run or two
Yeah.
here and there.
It's hard to say because it's not necessarily the bullpen's fault, but it has gone through, little hiccups here and there lately, right? So Luke Weaver came back, didn't look great when he first came back, which is going to happen, right? So
Yeah,
we had a game where he kind of blew that for us. Last night, Loaisiga comes in with a 3-run lead, has an awful showing, gives up 3 runs, ties the game. The Reds had previously been, I believe, 0 and 29 in any games that they were losing after
not
seven.
bad.
Yeah, not too bad. So now they're 1 and 29 because the Yankees went and blew that game last night. So I'm not going to blame the bullpen on this one. They are going through some shifts and changes. We're bringing up, JT Brubaker. Ryan Yarborough's gone on the IL, so we've had some guys come up to fill in for him. Guys like Alan Winans, who's been killing it at AAA, but not so much at the major league level right now. Tim Hill has been reliable. So, guys are doing what they mostly need to do. It really does come down to, I feel like the hitting is not giving the pitching, and especially the bullpen, much breathing room. So it's making a lot of stressful innings for those guys. And even, again, Mark Leiter Jr. last night got out of a really big jam in extras with a runner on with JC Escarra playing third base because Jazz got thrown out and all kinds of things are going on. But uh, you would think next inning you got somebody else to bring in, and we just didn't. So I can't blame the bullpen. It's just what are you going to do when personnel kind of lets you down and your offense isn't really giving you the wiggle room that you need.
And sorry, just a little off topic, but to that point, we're talking about some of these guys in the farm, so I guess it's not off topic, right? But
Yeah.
like the Mets have these guys in the farm, and I don't know what it is. The Mets always mismanage. I feel like their, talent or the prospects, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
And they never call them up at the right time. I feel like they either wait and wait before it's too late, or before there's an injury or whatever it is. And I don't know. Like there's Jet Williams who's figured it out and he's playing unreal. Carson Benj, who was our first round pick. Jonah Tong, who literally looks like the next coming of Tim Lincecum, who is absolutely dominating. I don't know if you've seen him at all. It's actually insane what he's doing at double A level.
It's unreal. He's got like a
Like
1.5 ERA, right?
yeah, like, I'll let the guy skip a freaking um like just skip what am I trying to say here? Like skip
Oh,
AAA and
skip
call him
AAA, just
up
bring him up. Yeah.
because that
Skip the
happens.
grade.
Teams do that.
Oh, all the
And
time. Crochet, Chris Sale, all these guys, right?
like just to put in perspective, like again, where our rotation is, and now we're going to rotate. Look at us organically moving today, Ed. We're organically moving on the pod.
Look at
And
that.
Jonah Tong this year, he has a 1.75 ERA. Like it's not just average. It's different if double A hit a three and he's, okay. He's 1.75, 67 innings, 107 strikeouts with a sub one whip. Like
So
that's
you're at that point. You want
I'm
him
at that
up.
point. You want this guy. If he's 22, they're gonna wait till he's 25 years old. They're gonna wait till his arm falls off. They're gonna wait till he gets fucking Tommy John.
Hmm.
Like call this kid up. Brandon Sproat was your guy in AAA. He hasn't figured it out. Give this kid a chance. He literally looks like Tim Lincecum. He throws like Tim Lincecum, and we know what Tim Lincecum did. And we know again where the injuries lie in this rotation. Again, they're not addressing their injuries. You have Kodai Sanga, who's on the shelf, who luckily it's I think a grade one strain. He should be back soon, but you never know.
Hmm.
Shamanaya, he was working rehab assignments. He was about to make his final rehab start, and I think we just shut him down for another 2 to 3 days because of I want to say elbow discomfort, right? And
And
that
then
guy,
Montas just comes out of nowhere and throws what 5 shutout innings?
yeah, it's funny how that works. And it's crazy. Like me and you, I feel like baseball guys or anyone being a baseball guy, not just you and I feel like we could have easily predicted that. That shit
Oh
always
yeah,
happens, right? Where you get
14 ERA
carved
on
up.
the farm. Yeah.
Insane, yeah. And we lost the game because again, that's the game we blew last night late by the bullpen. But yeah, Montas 5 innings, 5 Ks. I mean, yeah, okay. I'm cool with that. Like I'm not mad at you, Montas. But yeah, man, like Canning has regressed immensely. So I'm not taking back what I said earlier this year, but I'm gonna take it back a little bit because
Oh,
he's starting to 3.91 ERA. I mean, he's going back up to his career numbers soon. Like
The
he
Can
that
Can Award is going away. What's happening,
I
man?
mean, Ed, he was like a 2.23. Now it's a 3.91. Think about how bad some of his stretches must have been to get that back up to almost a 4.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
That's 15
So,
starts.
makes you wonder. And again, regression, whatever. You know what? And you look for fingers to point at and people to blame. And is it Hefner? Is it the front office that's not finding these
Or is
adjustments
it
to
the
say
player?
they're adjusting, or is it the player?
Yeah.
And is he fatigued? And is whatever, right? And who knows? When you come to a new staff and a new training regimen and a new plan, maybe it does take an effect on your body that you're not expecting. So, and Canning's what, 30 now?
Yeah,
31?
I want to say he's probably 30 or 31, but like the issue with this again is like you don't have the depth to go to if Cannon continues to struggle, right? McGill, he was put on the shelf, which I don't really care about because McGill is literally a career 4 ERA back end of the rotation guy who's literally somehow like stuck his way into this Mets rotation and pitched many opening days, and it just doesn't make sense. He's like a Mets lifer all of a sudden, and like for whatever reason, he has like the keys to the Ferrari. Like he's always allowed to just drive it around town whenever he wants. Like it's kind of crazy. I've been done with McGill for a while, but where else are we gonna go? And I'm kind of like, David Peterson is pitching like an ace. Clay Holmes also, knock on wood, 'cause he's pitching right now. So I don't want to jinx. We've jinxed it enough. I'm not gonna say anything, but he looks solid. But like that's all you have right now is Peterson and Holmes. Canning's regressed. Sanga's hurt. McGill sucks. Montas, we don't know yet. It's been one start. Blade Tidwell showed some promise coming back and making a spot start against the Phillies. It was okay. I don't see much there. And Blackburn is Blackburn. So like again, it's crazy to me because where has the depth gone? Maybe there was never depth. It was to your point, guys who were not supposed to do what they were doing, all regressing at the same time. That's the
Or
key.
or they identified something that worked in these guys and they're maybe just a little off right now. You know what I mean? It's like all the
That's the
offense
goal,
is a little
hopefully.
off right now, right? So like for the Yankees, the offensive timing is just off. It's not like Aaron Judge isn't the greatest hitter on the planet, but he's hitting 222 over his last 10 games. So like things happen, and with pitching, again, you only get once every 5 days to prove that you're maybe back, right? So it could just be that you're in a lull and guys need time. Maybe they're pitching more than they're used to. Who knows? But I think it's too quick to say, all right, everything's falling, and we have to panic because they can't get through this. The only thing I'll say, I think your lack of a true workhorse ace type pitcher
Yeah.
does feel right now like your biggest flaw. Like
And
if
you know
you
who
did
that
have
was?
that guy,
It was McGill.
right?
And
Well,
like
yeah, I guess so.
that's not. Yeah,
No,
he could be. He's a workhorse, but he's giving up runs.
but even like I'm talking like a $300 million contract pitcher, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you are almost missing just that one dude who you're like, yeah, stud, this guy's going to go out there and shove, and everybody else can kind of like have a chance to figure it out,
And that was
right?
supposed to be Benaya. It was supposed to be. It was last year for the most part.
But let's be honest, even
He's
then, he's
not.
not your
Yeah,
$300 million starter, right? And I'm not saying that guy was available. Like Max Fried would have been your best bet for that kind of move for this
100%.
offseason, right? But maybe that's a guy that you really need to target in this, trade deadline coming up.
I mean,
Someone who's got an excess or somebody who is that kind of guy.
I do. Sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, like, that's a big topic of conversation that we're gonna have on the pod. The deadline's what, a little over a month away. Like,
Oh yeah.
that will be a fun episode because we both clearly
Got
have
some
some
ideas.
shoes to fill, and I want us to come with the most hypothetical opportunities out there. Oh wait, by the way, before
Hell
we
yeah.
keep moving, I want to hear about your starting rotation. But before we do that, this is so
Mm.
random. But my buddies, for those of you who don't know, my buddies love Ed.
Who
Um,
doesn't love Ed?
and actually, they're all talking shit. They said, Al better drop the podcast before my commute tomorrow. Shout out, Mikey. Give him a shout out. They fucking ripping us apart for not
Let's
posting
go.
consistently. I'm
Hey,
gonna tell them
listen.
on air right now, just talk shit about you.
Just let them know that the Mets fans can never get anywhere on time. So it's just because of
And
the traffic and poor infrastructure around Flushing. But
yeah,
listen,
exactly. And I said I'm asking his question right now. So this is what I want to ask you. It's so random, but they were mentioning it earlier in the chat. It's something a caller actually asked Mike Francesca on the fan way back when,
oh,
and out completely, out of context. We don't have to be on it too long. It's just funny. He said to
is it
ask
about the
you.
horses? Is it about the horses?
No, not
Let me
that
tell
one.
you about the horses. All right.
That, but no, this is good. That's good too. But he said to ask Ed if the San Francisco Giants and the New York Giants ever get lunch when they're in town together.
Didn't he lose his mind on this one? I'm pretty sure I
I-
remember. Wasn't this like an all-time meltdown?
oh yeah, the video is crazy. I love that man.
I love that. No, I love everything that is knocking Mike Francesa. That dude has been as much a part of my, upbringing in the tri-state area as anybody else, being on Yes Network forever. But the dude coming out of retirement just to take his show back. Do you remember that whole drama? It was like he literally left, retired, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna pull a Jay Leno and come right back because
Yeah.
fuck him. That's why. I don't know. That's a good question. I would hope that they would, and then reminisce about the days of the glory days of the
Oh, so you say
1930s
they
and
do? I just told
40s.
them you said they don't because they're pissing me off.
No, of course they don't. Do the New York Giants and San Francisco Giants get together for lunch?
And my
I
buddy
would.
said the Yankees would have had lunch. All right, I'm done reading this chat.
Well, hey, listen. At least we got some participation. None of my friends would offer anything useful at this
They told us to
juncture.
go live on YouTube to ask questions, which we'll do
Ooh,
soon. I mean, we were just
that's a
trying
good
to get
move.
back on air tonight, but
Yeah, we're just trying to make sense of this whole thing. If anything, I do have a friend who loves you as well, Alec. I think I've told you this before, but he thinks I sound horrendous. But you do navigate this here podcast quite beautifully. So
well, I appreciate that
that
from
comes
your
from
anonymous
Dr. Lou
friend.
in Houston, Texas. He's a very well trained doctor.
Oh, what kind of doctor?
Just general physician, but he does it for the Houston VA. So shout out to the Houston VA down there,
Shout out.
helping
Can
the
you check my
veterans.
cholesterol once in a while?
He absolutely could. His is probably worse than yours, though. I won't put him on blast, but this is not a man you want to take much health advice from.
But he's a doctor.
You listen, what I've learned about doctors is just like teachers, all the people you went to school with, you're like, oh, that guy's gonna go be a teacher, and you're like, oh shit, man, that guy's gonna be a teacher, and then you realize who was teaching you once upon a time.
That's so
All I'm
true. Then
saying
you
is,
see where he's living. He's in his mom's
oh,
basement. Mom, the meatloaf.
the meatloaf. No, he's now got his own three-story condo that he lives in by himself. Way more depressing.
Yeah,
Um,
a little sad, but hey, if you get the
but
cholesterol down, that's a win.
exactly, that's a win. He's like, look at your shoebox in New York. I'm like, better than your whatever. We're not going to talk smack. We're here to
Yeah,
talk
hey,
about
shout out.
baseball,
I
right?
appreciate it. I appreciate my one fan out there because the rest of them are all Yankee fans. So,
Everyone needs a good Yankee fan in their life.
but
This is
Ed,
an Astros fan, so he's even worse.
he, oh, that okay, never mind. I don't like him.
Yeah,
But
no, who does?
regardless, I appreciate it. But
Shout
I
out to
wanted
the
to
friends. Shout out to the homies for the
shout out
question.
to the friends. I mean, would they be friends if they're not busting your balls?
No, absolutely not. That's what they're for.
But I'm also a sensitive fuck, and yeah, I feed right into it, and they know
Oh,
good and well, and you
oh,
know
you
good and
absolutely
well.
do. Yeah, it's fantastic. This is what's so great. This is the balance in the force here.
This is the balance,
Um,
and maybe this is a turning point. Let's put out that good dude. This is the turning point because we've been speaking way too positive all year. Now we're being real. We're
yeah.
in the present. We're in reality. We both suck. We both. It's funny because I was saying this at work. There's a bunch of Mets fans over there, and I was talking to some of these guys. I'm like, I'm used to this, right? I've seen how the Mets play the past 30 years of my life. I mean, from what I can remember, obviously not being an infant, but this is how they've always played. The difference is now and the new regimen and ownership and whatever else and Soto and all these things, you just didn't expect it to happen again so soon. Like I'm
Yeah.
used to it, but I'm like I'm not used to it happening like this. We were always just bad. We were never like, okay, we're in first, best team in baseball. Oh wait, no, we're not.
Right. And that's a different place to be in. And I've been warning you all season. You're in new territory as a Mets fan. In a new regime, as you said, it's new waters, uncharted territory, I'd say, because the expectation, the hot start, all those things, the hype that comes with it, and then this like rug is pulled out from underneath you, and you're like, yeah, it's only June, but still, you panic. Well, it's the end of June, it's almost July, right? So we're on the back end of the season coming up, and it makes you think, were those first 2 months just an absolute fluke? Or are we the team that I think we are? And most likely you're the team you think you are. It's just this is what you go through, and you have to find ways to defend it in your own brain because your fandom is internally just tearing itself up, saying, "No, you suck. No, we're great. No, you suck. No, we're great. It's okay. We don't, don't bail, don't leave, don't quit."
But-
So
And on
yeah,
top of that, Ed, sorry, I was gonna say too, like at least me and you, speaking for both of us, we watch most of these games, right?
right, right.
And you live and die on every freaking pitch,
Oh, every inning, dude. It's like
every inning, every pitch, and
every
like,
pitch, yeah, like you said.
and it's tough because like again, like this streak of what 1 in 10 for the Mets is feel like it's been again a full season. It's been not even 2 weeks. Like,
Right,
and
right.
imagine being a Rockies fan. And you're doing this all season. We wouldn't be watching every game, I'd hope, but
Listen, you get the games really cheap and you get to enjoy yourself some nice cheap beers at the mile high marker there.
that is
That's a
true.
good time. But
It's a
outside of that,
trade-off.
yeah, I cannot imagine being as invested if that's your reality for 162.
And they never even, and mind you, they've had a few good teams, but they never, I don't even think that, I know they haven't won a World Series. I don't think they've made a World Series, if I'm not
They made
mistaken.
it to the '07 World Series and got swept by the Red Sox.
Who hasn't made it? Was it the Rays? Someone hasn't made a
The
World Series.
Mariners
Wait, oh,
and the
Mariners.
Brewers.
Okay, I
Um,
had that off.
I think it's just the Mariners and no, Brewers have made it. Just the Mariners haven't. Yeah, I think just the Mariners haven't made the World Series. Yeah, that's
God, that's
crazy.
yeah, that sounds about right. Like I
Oof.
can't imagine. I mean, yeah, they've been pretty good, but that's actually even tougher.
Yeah,
Like
that's 50 years to not
there's
make it with those
and they're
teams.
borderline okay sometimes, most of the time. Like
Dude,
they're
the
not a bad
90s?
team.
Ready?
Yeah,
You
no,
ready
I
for
mean,
this lineup?
yeah, please let me hear it, and then we'll go back.
A-Rod, Griffey. I'm not going in an order. A-Rod, Griffey, Edgar Martinez, Brett Boone. Um, no, that was pre Brett Boone, but Dan Wilson, it fed into like insane amounts. And then their pitching staff. I mean, they had Randy Johnson. You had all
Yeah,
kinds of guys, dude, going into the 2000s where you go into like Jamie Moyer era, 2001, right? 116 game winning team. Uh, Jamie Moyer, Freddie Garcia, Joel Pinheiro, Gil Mesh, like all these kind of weird pieces that you wouldn't think as like household names necessarily. But then you go into like Jose Guillen, Ichiro Suzuki, Mike Cameron, Jay Buhner was there at the end of his career still. It's just insane amounts of players. Then going into Felix Hernandez, like they've had so many good players come through there, and they've never been successful. It blows my mind.
and you know what's crazy? We should have an episode on that because there's always that one team that like should have been for us is the 2006 Mets. Obviously, we know how that ended in heartbreak by the
Oh yeah.
yeah strike three looking. All right, what am I doing? I'm already miserable today on the pod. What are we
We don't
doing,
need to
man?
talk about all this. Well, let me bring it
Yeah.
back to
Okay.
present day.
Let's
And
hear your starting pitching. Is that a bright spot or is it all still falling down
it's
in the dirt?
great, dude. That's what's crazy. Is the starting staff is actually the pinnacle of what we're doing right now. I'd say the best thing that we could get out of them that we're not is a little more length right now. Obviously, you'd always ask for a little more length. Dudes, we all know that. But it's one of those situations where it looked so rough early on. We had no, the injury bug hit everyone. We haven't seen or heard from Luis Heel much at all, and that's your rookie of the year last year. He was your
Mhm.
ace, de facto ace for much of the season. Carlos Rodon continues to be Carlos Rodon after a couple of rough outings. The only thing I'm going to give a little bit of, flack to Carlos Rodon about. He pitched yesterday, 6 scoreless innings, 88 pitches, and could have come out for the seventh, which is when Loaisiga gave up the 3 runs. He asked out of the game. So who knows if Loaisiga got rushed into that, relief performance? I can't tell you. No, still no excuse. But Rodon being hot, fatigued, whatever it might be, he's at 101 innings for the year. So he's about at the halfway mark of his season. 17 games started, leading the league so far. And again, he's thrown and he struck out what out of the whole season? Where's our numbers here? 119. So he's throwing a lot of pitches. He's been your workhorse. He's not been quite Max Fried level, but I'm going to give him a little bit of slack in the sense that you're tired. Okay, you got a 3 run lead. Your team should be able to keep you here. But
Yeah.
as a guy who makes that much money to be asking out of the game, not the best look, especially when you probably could have gone one more inning that might have kept us, from losing that game. I don't want to hit out too hard on it because again, I'm loving everything he's doing. Uh, but that is not the best look in the clubhouse or as far as a fan base is concerned. I'm going to also say these guys work a lot harder than anybody's aware of and are on the road more often than not. So get off your high horses and saying, well, in my day, they would have done it this way. So like, just stop with all that. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
And stop with if the 100 pitches is an arbitrary number, they can't be lifted. Stop. It's a different game. Guys get paid more. The investments are different. Stop, stop, stop. It's fine to love the old school, but like let's stop shitting on, how things are done now. Then I'm
Yeah.
just going to go into the other guy and the biggest bright spot for us lately because Max Fried, we don't need to talk about Max Fried. Max Fried is Max Fried.
Mm.
Um, it's been Clark Schmidt, dude. Schmidt
Yeah, I
is
saw that. He's been pretty good.
He's
Pretty
leaving
pretty
Schmidt on
good.
everybody's face these days. I'm telling you, he is locking it down. His last 5 opponents have been Baltimore, the Angels, Royals, Cleveland, and the Angels again. In those 5 starts, he's only given up 3 earned runs, and that was against Cleveland in a game that they lost 4-0. And he gave those runs up in the first inning, I believe. He still had 8 strikeouts in that one, and again, only gave up those 3 earned runs in those 5 2/3 innings pitched. But that said, that's what, 5 starts, 3 earned runs. Has struck out 5, 3, 7, 8, 4. So he's kind of all over the place with the strikeout numbers, but he's getting outs and effectively. And he's doing it in an economy of pitches that is actually quite impressive. He's mostly going 6 innings, but in his last couple starts, he went 7 innings against Baltimore and 8 against the Angels in the game before that, which they lost, I believe, 1-0. So what are you going to do about that? This guy's been a shining light. He's kept things going in the right direction beyond Rodon and Freed. And then Will Warren has also been rounding back into shape. He goes and has a rough outing here and there, but the dude's still leading all rookies in strikeouts. He's got nearly 100 on the season so far. Um, so really everything that you might have worried about going into the season, yeah, 96 strikeouts in 75 innings, which is pretty impressive. He's become an elite strikeout thrower or strike thrower and strikeout pitcher. And his ERA is sitting at 4.5, 4.66 over his 16 starts, but his FIP, right? Fielding and independent pitching, I
Yep.
know how we feel about that, is sitting at a 2.88. So he's just a really interesting, enigmatic sort of pitcher where he might be really developing into one of the elite strikeout, again, throwers in all the leagues. So I'm loving where our pitching staff is. They're keeping us in every game. It's just the offense. If they can keep up their end of the bargain, we'd have 55 wins right now. It's just
100%. And Ed,
that's
you
how
know
the
what?
game goes.
Sorry, I mean that's a great rundown. Not to cut you off, though. The
No,
one thing I
that's
want to,
that was
that's the gist, right?
it. You got it all. I was teetering on going too long, but hey.
No, no, I think we're doing a good job today. And for everyone who knows, we kind of came here fresh off of just a busy day, not prepared at all. And you know what? Ed and I, before we started this podcast on the BAB, we've always had great baseball banter. Maybe it's best, Ed, we just free ball it with some stats in our pocket because we know our teams, good and bad, for better or
Cause I'm
worse, right?
free balling. That's horrible. I'm a much
I'm
better
gonna do
singer
it.
than that.
Well, you got a free ball. You got a free ball this summer. I mean, it's so hot.
Oh Lord, I'm
Um,
already there. I'm going commando right now, baby.
I'm
Well, that
sticky.
is free balling.
Sticky over here. But listen. So, wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. I lost one headphone on the pod, so clearly telling us we're running out of time here.
It's like a
But I
Verizon
wanted
commercial.
to, yeah. Oh yeah, with Pete Davidson playing fucking MLB The Show or whatever he's playing over there. Um, I wanted to highlight some bright spots real quick, if there are any. And the one is Juan Soto. I
Hey,
have to say it. He actually just hit a home run. The Mets are winning 4-1, and the base loaded one out. So maybe we're both
whoa.
gonna have a nice night tonight in New York.
Well,
Um,
here's hoping. We're in the fourth inning, and we just made an egregious error that allowed Ellie De La Cruz to score, and we're only up 3-1 in Cincinnati, where we should be absolutely butchering them. So
oh,
you're
well, don't
feeling
worry.
good. I'm feeling the same
Eh,
level of trepidation.
4-1 against the Braves. The way the bullpen's been playing, I don't feel good. Lindor's up at the base loaded one out. Break it open. The way you got to break this game open. You can't
Oh
just
yeah.
double play this shit right now. But regardless, Soto during the stretch has been the only consistent player. And on the season, Ed, he's risen his OPS. And this is pretty crazy considering where he was. He was, what, 7 when we were all shitting on him like a month plus ago?
Mm.
888. And obviously the sample size
Ooh.
was small at the time. So, like, again, it's one of those things where it's like, just give it time, right? And now he's literally in the team lead after tonight's home run, tied for the team lead with Alonso with 18 home runs out of nowhere.
Hey.
254 average. He's gonna end 280 plus. I could almost book that. Like I think it's safe to say he's going to end with a 900 OPS. Like the way he's figuring it out, and he leads the league in walks again, mind you, which always happens.
Of
His
course.
OPS is, I mean, OBP is almost 400. Slugging is almost 5. He's, I mean, yeah, it's not the stats that you want for the money he's getting, but I mean, he's on pace for 40 home runs almost, and almost 90, 100 RBIs if he gets a few more before the break. So all of a sudden, I mean, yeah, well, what can I say? He's playing the way you want him to play, especially his first year after a slow start.
Juan Soto's gonna Juan Soto, dude. We all knew it was gonna happen eventually, and
Imagine he wasn't, and this was happening.
well, that's what's so crazy about all of this, right? Is the fact that he wasn't going when you were all going, right? The rest of the offense was
Yep.
going,
And
and
pitching, yeah.
now the only guy seemingly carrying you at all is is his bat. So, or
And the one
anybody
guy we
consistently
shamed
at least.
and never
Yeah.
again. And another positive, Ed. Let's give the people a fuck bomb count.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Well, you already gave the Pete Alonso number. We're at 18 there.
Yes, sir.
And Judge is at a 10 above, so he's at 28. So what does that give us? That's 38, 46.
46, and we're not halfway through. We're on pace for the 100 roughly. You got four more before the break, right? Or before,
Are
wait,
we?
how many games have we played him? Let's first check that.
Hold on.
Let's see.
We played 80, so it's roughly 80, let's say 80 games, right?
Well, let's
Some have
both hit
played
two home runs
82.
tonight.
Then we're
You're
right
right
back on
there.
pace. Yeah, we have to figure something out if they do reach the 100 mark, 100 homer threshold, but we'll get that
Yeah,
as we're
that should be
getting a
something
little
fun though,
closer.
because it's not like a punishment. That's like a celebration, I
Yeah,
guess,
exactly, exactly.
in a
I
way.
agree.
But Ed, I know we've been going for a while. I think we've covered a lot. I want to leave with some value for the fans, some optimism, some hope, maybe, or some just realism, whatever.
Yeah, why not?
What do you have? I'll put it in your court, and then if not, we could always just banter it out and figure it out. But do you have anything on your mind in a way that a one liner of a topic that we could close out the pod with, or like how we foresee the next, what needs to change, or where we think is going to improve over the next week plus, or
Well,
anything like
what?
that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think the Yankees are going to welcome the Athletics to town. So they'll get back some home cooking. They need a day off, which they'll get finally for the first time tomorrow, their first time in 16 games. So, you know how that goes. A lot of fatigue, a lot of travel, a little bit of a break does the body good and the mind good. So
100%.
I do like the idea that we're going to have the Athletics and go to Toronto right after that, just before the 4th of July weekend, and then we'll run into you guys. So we got to do a little preview about that.
Yeah,
All things said, I always like the Yankees bats when they face the A's and Blue Jays. Feels like the get right games that we need, and two environments, obviously home and Toronto, that we historically hit pretty well in. So I'm going to say the pitching staff, keep doing what you're doing, baby. And the boys at the plate, something's going on between the ears. We just need a little bit of an approach change. And I'm not calling for anybody's job right now. But if this continues for more than a week longer, maybe two, I'll give them some leeway. We have to consider some either hitting coaches changing or a complete philosophical change in how we go about the day to day. Roster construction, it's all good. It's good to have the mentality of home runs are good, and if you out homer your opponent, you'll win more games over 162. But we need to address the elephant in the room, the elephants in the room, the giant gorilla or giant elephant in a gorilla suit in the room. I don't know what you want to call it, but
I like it.
it's glaring and obvious. You need to get your base hits and simplify the game and play the fundamentals right because we are back to doing exactly what we did in the World Series last year and what we do in playoff situations where we have early exits or disappointing ones. We're not playing the fundamentals right and getting bat on ball, moving station to station. Everyone's trying to be the hero. You don't all have to do it. You got a bunch of veterans on
Mm.
that team. Let the next guy get you over. Just worry about doing your job, getting on base, and manufacturing those runs. So
Ed, that's a hard sentiment to follow. I love it. I'm going to try to feed off of that because, yes, we're winning 6-1 tonight. It's a small sample size. It's a one day at a time, one game at a time approach, right? And you win tonight, you win the series tomorrow against your rival, the Braves, at home. And then you're going out to Pittsburgh to play a pretty pedestrian Pittsburgh Pirates team that doesn't score that many runs. You go there with some momentum. You could win the series or maybe pick up a sweep. And then you're back home against the Brewers, who we know what the Brewers have and what they could do, but they're beatable. And then we play you guys. So I think, again, this is a nice get right set of what do we got? 6 games after this Brave series. So say you win this series, and guys, I make it sound like the sky's falling down. I'm gonna take your approach here, Ed. I'm gonna be
it
logical because I'm not all emotion, right?
is
I'm just
falling.
having
We're all
fun.
chicken littles here
But
right now.
yeah, yeah. But the sky is not falling. The season is not over. We're 12 games over 500. We're a game and a half behind the Phillies, and we're not. We're technically not halfway through the season. And listen, maybe the runners in scoring position has been a problem that needs to be addressed, but it all starts at the top. Lindor has been struggling. He came off a slow start to a hot start to now he's kind of regressed over the past few weeks and it's been kind of consistent, but it starts at the top. It starts with your leader. And I know Soto figured it out, but it starts with Lindor, it ends with Lindor. because he is the table setter. He is your leader. He's the momentum builder. And then he passes the torch, right? Nimmo's figured it out a bit. He's been great in the two hole. I like him there. Soto, we know what he's doing. Alonso's been in a bit of a slump. He has a higher chase rate than we would like to admit over the past few weeks during this 11 game stretch. He will get right and he'll be better. And then you have some um, question marks, right? At the bottom of this lineup. You know, you have McNeil, you have Marte, you have Torrens, and you have these young talents. So, Ed, it comes down to just the young talents trying to prove out and figure it out. And Mauricio tonight hit a home run. Beatty's playing well, but it's one game. So they got to start to string together multiple games and show some consistency. And on the pitching front, it's just hoping guys get back sooner or later. Kodai Senga, right? He's due for rehab assignment soon. Look what he was doing before he went out. That
Yeah.
ERA was the best in the NL, one of the best in the NL. And then you have Manaya, who, yes, he got shelved again, but he should be on the horizon. Those are two of your 1-2 punches in your rotation. Maybe Montas is, he's not going to be a zero ERA, but yeah, maybe he is going to obviously play better than what we saw in the minors and what he's proven to do in his career. And you couple that with Peterson and Clay Holmes, there's your rotational depth. Bullpen, David Stearns, get on the phone. That, I don't know. That we need to make some moves.
Yeah.
I can't be positive about just using these random guys, Brandon Waddell's and Ty Adcox and freaking Dickie Lovelady. Like, you can't use those guys. You need proven.
Adcox and Dick Lovelady. You gotta love
They
the
did that
names
on
they're bringing.
purpose, I
Oh, they
swear.
absolutely did.
But no, to
uh,
end it on the, sorry, not to cut you off, but to end it on the positive note, I want to tie into your sentiment. The season is still in our hands, and it could turn around on the drop of a hat tonight, winning 6-1 against the Braves. Like I said, tomorrow you win the series, then you get right, and then we go into another Subway Series where we both hopefully are in a better spot. But I'm confident.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And that's all you can say right now because, again, to predict that it's all over after having such great starts, I mean, it's patently ridiculous. You're at some point going to trip and stumble, and this is when you learn what your team is made of, what their metal is, how much they can be tested and bend and not break. So I'm looking to these teams to find their resilience. Right now, we got the Yankees up 3-1, and I do want
There
to
you go.
mention something quickly about resilience.
Please.
Jazz Chisholm Jr. in his last 20 games after coming back from injury, he's hitting 343 with 4 home runs and a 970 OPS. So if there's a big bright spot in this time where our offense isn't doing much, he's got our 3 runs today with that 3-run home run. On the opposite side of that coin, he just came up with 2 men on and swung at a ball that he tried to lift out where he did not need to. So
Mm.
it's going too much for that home run once again. And we have a situation where the bases are now loaded with one out where we could have maybe had a little more. Anyway, whatever. Simple
No, I hear
thing.
you.
But
I mean,
again,
I'm hoping for the best.
take
So,
what you
which is,
can and
yeah.
go with what you got. And yeah, like you said, it's just going to be a situation where, and this is actually something I wanted to go back to because you just mentioned it, it sparked
Yeah.
something. Managers are being asked to do so much more now.
Like
And
under
it's
a microscope, dude. Like Mendoza's like on Twitter, he's getting some heat. He really, and yes, there have been some questionable calls, but at the same time, if the guys you're putting in the game, none of them could come through in the big moment, and you're walking the bases loaded, that's out of his control.
and just the number of transactions up and down. Like bullpen pieces were not this much of an up and down sort of again stock market wheeling and dealing type management style, right? Like they weren't used in this way once upon a time. It was like you had your 5 guys. And then
Yeah.
guys would get hurt and bring them in. Now it's like, oh, that guy's a DFA'd. I want him now because he might offer us something. Let's check it out. And then you just discard him as soon as he has a game where he
But
sucks,
like
like Dick
Jen Muir, I
Lovelady.
mean, it's not a Dickie Lovelady. I mean, the name is great, the guy not so much. But
He might be a lovely guy,
who he might be a lovely guy, but who
Dickie
else got
Lovelady.
DFA'd? It was he's not a pitcher. Off topic a little bit. Oh, Jenmir Candelario, who was
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
signed a nice contract too,
With
and
the
they
Reds,
DFA'd
actually.
him with the
Yeah.
Reds. Yeah, and like they're talking about like maybe the Mets or Yankees. I don't want someone scraps.
You would if you thought you could get something that they weren't getting out of him. It would be
That
great,
that's
but
fair.
he's seemingly just not the guy that he ever was supposed to be. He was a huge trade chip once upon a time and only really had 1 or 2 really strong seasons, right? Like mostly anywhere he stopped with the Tigers, I think it was with the Nationals he had a good year. So it could always be a fluky one that gets you the contract or top prospect type that we're like, oh, maybe he's got something left in the tank and we'll take a chance. But it's just so much more of this like the personnel that managers are dealing with day to day. That's got to be the biggest challenge of anything I can even talk about right
A
now. Like who's
hundred
ready?
percent.
What's the bullpen usage? Like how many pitches has this guy thrown this week? Like to keep track of everything like that they're expected to be computers, and no wonder we rely so much on the numbers to get through the game anymore.
Yeah, and hey, that's why it's a full-time job, right? That's why they get paid all this money, and that's why,
Yeah, no one's feeling bad for
no, I don't feel bad for them at all. I would do
him.
anything to have that be my career, right?
I'll
But like
take it.
again, guys on the horizon that I didn't mention, just the honorable mention, Brooks Raley, who's soon to start a rehab assignment, if I'm not mistaken. That is a big bullpen piece, lefty, and that's probably why we DFA'd Jose Castillo because yeah, we kind of all just been piecing it together without Minter as with the left-handed workhorse in the bullpen, and we're hoping Raley is that guy. And again, we'll talk trade deadline down the road, Ed, but just quick honorable mentions. I know the Orioles are kind of in a weird spot, might be sellers because of oddly enough how bad their season's been going, and with that because they're still young, so it might happen, it might fluctuate. But like a guy like Felix Batista, Sir Anthony Dominguez, or Gregory Soto are all pretty flashy, and you have Jake
Yeah.
Bird on the Rockies. Like there's guys there, but there's no rumors that the Mets are out there looking. But there's no part of me that believes that David Stearns isn't out there looking. We're trying to win a World Series here. There's no way he's not looking, right?
He's shaking trees for sure. He's
Shaking
calling,
babies.
shaking babies, kissing hands. No, he's everywhere. He's got to be probably calling anybody he knows. He's well connected, obviously. And yeah, you're obviously digging and doing your research going leading up into the trade deadline. The earlier you can make a deal, the better,
Yeah,
honestly, at this juncture,
yeah.
because maybe you're not waiting till the very end and the contenders are not going to jack the price up.
And that's where
But
I'm at. Like I'd rather him just get on it now, early July.
well, it does feel like this is kind of your trade deadline, especially with the pieces that you're so unsure of. Like the Yankees feel like they're in a slightly different situation because it's like it pretty much feels like slumping, not like, oh, we have to just send everybody down. Where it feels like half your roster at this juncture, at least your lineup is telling you, are we ready for the majors?
Yeah, there's three guys in the bullpen that I trust right now. It's Diaz, Buto, and Garrett. I don't even know if I mean, yeah, the numbers still look good, but it was like lately, I can't trust him for what he's been doing. It just looks good because again, he had a point 0.6. Like it's
Right.
gonna go up. Brazaban, I don't really trust anymore because he hasn't really proven it out consistently every year, and Stanek as well. Like, and to your point, the lineup, like 5 through 9 with McNeil or Marte being your five, that's not trustworthy. So like all you really trust is 1 through 4. Like I know Lindor will figure it out. I'm pretty confident in that. I would hope so. And like Nimmo's playing better than he has in years past, and Soto and Alonso are gonna be just fine. So, but it's the rest of that lineup. So
Yeah. And
we'll see.
I'm sorry to change the subject here, but
Please.
something happened where I just wanted to strangle your former manager, Luis Rojas, and
Oh no.
I might actually write a nasty letter if he continues to be this putrid at being the third base coach. This
What do you do?
dude doesn't know how to send guys when he needs to, and I don't know if this is his fault. It was bases loaded, as we were talking about. Anthony Volpe came up, flew out, sacrifice fly like deep center field. Ben Rice is at third base and looks like he's going to tag up no problem. Then it looks like there's some confusion because maybe Rojas told him to leave earlier than he needed to, but he tagged up, then went back to third base, and then just scurried home in time to beat the throw home. Like, there's no reason he should have had to tag up twice. And my belief is, I don't know, I'm probably off base, but I've seen Rojas on a number of occasions not communicate well with the guy that's like, oh, did you see it? Did he catch it? Is he running? Judge the other
Mm.
day didn't score on what should have been an easy sack fly. And I've seen him hold guys when you're down, your offense isn't scoring, you're holding guys and like not challenging the outfielder's throw. I don't get what Rojas does over there, but I am about done with him. He is the most inconsistent third base coach I've ever witnessed,
That's a
and he
great
makes
job to have
everybody.
too.
Yes, it is. And Willie Randolph was a fantastic third base coach once upon a time. I know I'm aging myself by saying that, but tying it all together to your Mets
I remember
manager.
when he was a manager, so I'm aging myself too. Yes.
And listen, he was solid back then too. He got hosed. Out of your history, he's probably the one that got the most hosed. Maybe Terry
I
Collins,
mean,
but
and don't forget I'm mentioning oh my God, what my friend's first name, but Manuel, Jerry Manuel.
oh yeah, Jerry. Who doesn't love
He,
Jerry?
I
What a
mean, he was
guy.
all right. I mean, he was pretty bad,
He was
but
just a goofy
like
dude. I just
he was
always liked
oh
him.
Mickey Callaway shout out.
Oh
He was
God,
awful. Fuck that
that's
guy. Okay,
he's
regardless, Ed, we've been
things
running
are
for a
gonna get
while.
better. Things are gonna
Things,
get
yeah,
better.
let's let the people. Things are gonna get better, but I'm glad we were able to have a real pod, right? Something where actually things weren't perfect or going swimmingly. And it's okay. It's a long season. Like we said, it's a one game at a time, one day at a time approach. It's a long season. We live and die with every pitch as diehard New York baseball fans, but that's the beauty of this sport. And I am ready to stand in the front lines the rest of the way. I don't know about you.
With the seven line army.
All right, we're doing so good today. We're doing so
I'm
good. There
sorry.
was
I
no
could.
There was no pushing and shoving and
Uh,
punches thrown, but all right, I
It's all
hear
right.
you.
It's all right. Listen,
I'll
rivalry's
pocket that for
coming.
next time.
Rivalry round two is coming. So we just got
Yeah,
to grease ourselves up for next episode. Talk a little bit about, where
we're
we
gonna have
go
to
from
prepare for this
here.
one, Ed, because what day of the week is that? Bear with me, because
That
I'm on vacation. We
that's
gotta
like a
get.
Fourth of July one, man. You're gonna have to get on it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, gotta get so many food reservations.
If
Let's
anyone's
see.
curious as to why the pod isn't making its weekly,
Oh no,
I
that,
mean,
that
just
yeah,
you
just
got a
this
little
one
insight
time.
here.
Oh, Oh, they're on Fourth of July. That's pretty sick. I
Well,
probably won't be able to
we'll
watch
get
that
them.
one.
We'll
We'll
we'll catch
figure it out.
everybody up. Don't
Well,
worry. We
we could
got some.
preview it Sunday before I go away Monday if we
That's
have
what I'm
to.
saying. Yeah.
We'll
Trade
make it
deadline
happen.
stuff coming up. We'll talk about some, moves that the team's got to make, get a little more in
We
depth
could even
about
do
some
that
real
after the series
ideas.
if you want, because we'll still have a few weeks, but we could play it
Yeah, you're
earlier.
probably right about that.
And well, not
Either
very
way, we got
often, but
some
when I
exciting
am,
stuff. I'm just hoping you go into it with like a, 2-20 record into your last 22.
I hope
And
you go
then,
into it with 0 and 100. How about that?
oh, that's very rude and disrespectful, but I don't know
Well,
why you would say such a thing.
I have a few reasons, just a
Well,
few.
that's fair. But
But
you don't have
Ed,
Trent Grisham on your team. That's why. You're just so sad. He just made
eh,
another great catch. Who
he hasn't
doesn't
done
love the
much. I
Grish?
mean, he's definitely fallen off for
Dude,
sure.
he's still
Oh
hitting
wait.
250 with like
Oh wait,
14 home runs.
hold up. We're not going anywhere yet.
Oh no. What have
You
I
know what I'm
done?
doing. You know exactly what I'm doing. Bear with me, Ed, and then I'll let you go.
Do
The fans
do
are gonna love
do
this
do do
one.
do do
Okay,
do.
I'm gonna read two stat lines.
All right.
One for the Mets and one for the Yankees.
All right. It sounds
You
good.
tell me each player and who we're comparing.
Ooh, okay. I'm
Okay,
guessing it's Soto and Grisham. I don't know why.
maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. All right. 15 home runs, 32 RBIs, 246 average with an
That's
821
Grisham.
OP. Yes. 18 home runs, 44
This is
RBI.
Soto.
Yes, but that's my point. All year. Oh, Grisham and Soto is going to have better numbers than Soto by the end of the year. I know it was just trolling and banter and like whatnot. And I'm shouting at my boys who we were talking about earlier, all of the friends who talk shit.
It's that classic Alex sensitivity coming right back.
Fuck the sensitivity. I'm putting in facts. This is a fact. He clearly is going to outperform Grisham tenfold. And come on, we
You
knew
know
that.
what? He might, but he doesn't have the swag on infinity like Daddy Grish out there. So you could be paid all the money you want, but when your swag is on infinity like that, Grish ain't Grish ain't concerned.
All right, whatever that means, I'll let you have that. But
He's taking
Ed,
on this whole persona. Yankee fans are falling in love. I love it.
all right, he's a nice mustache. But
It is a great
regardless,
mustache.
I think it's again great that we were able to keep it real. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like it's been bad, but again,
Well, it is rainbows when Max Fried's throwing a hell of a curveball up there. You
or
know what I'm
David
saying?
Peterson,
Woo!
but good things to come. Injuries, people are working their way back. Young talent still proving out and maybe figuring out. And then our guys who are, again, not performing up to expectations, they will get there. Because at the end of the baseball season, it tends to always work out that way, where the guys tend to end up performing in line or close to their career slash lines, unless it's obviously like a new guy, a young guy, whatever. But a Lindor, for example, he should be where we expect him to be. Ed, it's been an honor and a privilege, but
Always.
I'm trying to get out of here and take a shower. So
Oh yeah, I am soupy
it's
right
hot.
now.
It's
My
soupy. It's
underwear
hot.
has just taken a turn for the worst.
We mentioned that too much on this episode, but thank God most of our listeners are probably 90% male,
Yeah,
I would
and
say.
who doesn't love a little sweaty undercarriage talk?
Well, it should be cooling off a little bit soon, but
I'm selling these underwear on eBay. I know that.
what is eBay?
I meant eBay, but I was hoping no one caught that.
New website, new platform you're rolling out over there?
Oh yeah, it's Alec Bay, right? It's
Oh,
it's spelled BAE.
and just one more thing. Tell your doctor friend I appreciate him again, but, get that
Yeah,
cholesterol down, man. It's a scary place. I got a high one too.
I know, dude. It's horrible. I don't want to talk about aging, but my God, it doesn't get any better. Let's just say that.
No, it can get better. That's just
No. It's
it
just
doesn't get better
aging.
if you
You
keep
don't
eating
get
like
any younger.
shit. It gets better if you apply yourself. That's all. But
That
tell
is
him,
fair.
we'll get him on here one time because he's the only fan I got, so I'll take it. I appreciate him.
He'll be very awkward and uncomfortable, like most doctors, but you
Sounds
might
good
offer
to
some good
me.
advice. Yeah, maybe
Then
he
I'll.
could be our injury report analyst.
You said he's an Astros fan.
Yeah.
I'll bring on all the Yankee fan friends from my group chat. We won't say a word. We'll just let them
Ooh,
talk.
that's
See how
true.
that
We
goes.
should just beat him up with bats. That'd be fun.
Well, that's I mean, if you really don't like the guy, yeah, sure.
Oh, it's just the trash dress thing, you know? You hit the trash can. Call him the trash
Oh,
can,
I
you
see.
know?
Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense.
We treat our
Okay.
friends well on the pod. That's what we do here.
We do wine them and dine them. Don't finish that.
And beat them with trash cans
And beat them
or baseball bats.
with bats. But everyone, that will do it for another great
Beat up
episode of
the
the
brat.
Big Apple
Beat up the
Battle.
brat. Beat up the
Don't know.
brat with the baseball bat. Oh, yeah. All right, sorry. Continue.
Don't know what that is. I will swing that back. Everyone, I don't know what Ed was singing, but this is a wrap for episode 16 of the Big Apple Battle. We appreciate you for joining us in the dark days of New York baseball over the past 2 weeks, but we will be back better than ever. And remember to listen, subscribe, rate, review. Again, still no emails came through. Ed, what the fuck? I mean,
They
someone's got
hate
to send an
us.
email. I might send an email to our email asking a question
That's
anonymously.
a good idea. I like that. You got to give yourself a weird name, though, so we can call out your name or your screen name, you
What are you thinking?
know? Um,
Well, we can't say it
Not
on the
Keith.
pod, so.
Oh, yeah, we can't say it. Sorry. You're right.
No, it's got to be an alias, secret
Under
alias.
wraps,
But
under wraps.
regardless, we'll be back to foreshadow the next Subway Series, big 4th of July weekend, obviously highlighting the trade deadline and the needs and the wants of each team and just where we are. See if we're getting back to playing good all around baseball and winning some series because I feel like the Mets haven't won a series in a bit and the Yankees as well, if I'm not mistaken, or they've just been inconsistent regardless. And hey,
Yeah, we beat the Orioles. That was good, but hey, lost to the Reds. So what are you gonna say? What are you
keep beating them so they could give us their relief pitchers. But
gonna
either
do?
way, that's a wrap. Ed, I'll catch you next time. Fans, stay positive, stay classy. Good things are coming.
There's well, get wrecked, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Follow it. Only good things can happen, right? That's how it works. I think so.
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace.
Follow it.
This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot.